For the T6, T7 ELDOA, we're going to sit cross-legged for this one. So let's go ahead and cross our legs. We want to press our knees down to the floor. We got dorsiflexion of ankle, eversion of ankle, then retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down to the floor to put the dura mater under tension. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction, and more specifically, I'm going to be teaching you how to correct thoracic hypokyphosis. Before I get on with the exercises, I want to do a quick recap of what exactly thoracic hypokyphosis is, and once again, in order to do that, I'm going to need the help of my good friend, Johnny Bones. So Johnny, get over here and show your flat spine to the camera. Thoracic hypokyphosis is when you have limited extension in the thoracic spine. And Johnny is the perfect candidate for this because, as you can see, his thoracic spine is very, very flat. Ideally, you should have anywhere from 20 to 40 degrees of curvature in the thoracic spine. Whenever it falls below 20 degrees, then that's when it's going to be considered hypokyphotic. And if you don't address it, it can lead to things like shoulder pain, mid-back pain, neck pain, and a whole host of other issues, so you would want to address it immediately. One of the ways in which we could address it would be to do some strengthening exercises for the muscles that are responsible for flexion of the thoracic trunk. We did those a couple days ago. I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 strengthening exercises for thoracic hypokyphosis, but in that video, we ended up covering the strengthening exercises for the rectus abdominis, the external oblique, the internal oblique, the psoas major, and we also did the abdominal curl up. Once you've done those exercises, a terrific complement to those exercises would be to do some myofascial stretching exercises for the muscles that are responsible for extension of the thoracic trunk. And we ended up doing those a couple days ago. We did the myofascial stretching for the longissimus, the iliocostalis, and the transversal spinalis group. We also did the middle trapezius and the inferior trapezius. I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for thoracic hypokyphosis. But once you've done those exercises, let's say you've done the strengthening and you've done the stretching, and you're still not finding that you're getting the benefits that you would like, a third problem that may arise is the nerves that send the signal to the muscles that are responsible for flexion of the thoracic spine. They may not be getting the signal properly. So if you do have nerve dysfunction at any of those areas, then the nerves won't send the signal, and because of that, they're not going to be able to fire properly, and that can exacerbate symptoms of thoracic hypokyphosis. So with regard to the actual nerves, which nerves are we going to be covering today? Well, with regard to the rectus abdominis muscle, the rectus abdominis is innervated by the intercostal nerves, specifically T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10, T11, and the T12 nerve roots. Then the external obliques are going to be innervated by the intercostal nerves, and more specifically, the ventral rami of your T7, T8, T9, T10, T11, and T12 nerve roots. And then the internal obliques are also going to be innervated by the intercostal nerves, and once again, more specifically, the ventral rami of your T7, T8, T9, T10, T11, and T12 and L1 nerve roots. Then, with regard to the psoas major is going to be innervated by the lumbar plexus, which is going to be your L1, L2, and L3 nerve roots. So for today, we're going to be taking you through some ELDOA exercises for the nerves in those areas. And the reason the ELDOAs are going to be terrific at addressing this issue is because if you have any type of damage or compression to the nerve roots in those areas, then that can be limiting the function of the nerves, and then the nerves are not going to be able to send the proper signal to the muscles to fire properly. So by doing the ELDOAs, we can create space within the joint, and by creating space, we can improve the nerve function of those nerves in that area. So for today, we're going to be taking you through the L2, L3 ELDOA, the L1, L2 ELDOA, and then the T8, T9, T7, T8, and T6, T7 ELDOA. But without further ado, here are the top 5 ELDOA exercises for thoracic hypokyphosis. For all of the ELDOA exercises that I'm going to be demonstrating for you today, we're going to be in a seated position. And the first ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct thoracic hypokyphosis is going to be the L2, L3 ELDOA. For the L2, L3 ELDOA, we're going to go ahead and straighten out our legs, and then we want to abduct our thighs to 45 degrees. From here, maximum extension of knees. We want to go into dorsiflexion of ankles by pointing our toes toward our head, inversion of ankles by pointing the soles of our feet inward toward each other, and then we want to go into medial rotation of the femurs by pointing the toes in toward the midline. Then from here, we want retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders. Then we're going to flex the shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. We're pressing up with the palms, up with the crown of the head, keeping the knees locked, and this is the L2, L3 ELDOA. Next, the second ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct thoracic hypokyphosis is going to be the L1, L2 ELDOA. For the L1, L2 ELDOA, it's very similar to the one that we just did. The only difference is, for this one, our legs are abducted to 20 degrees, so we're going to bring them a little bit closer together. Then we want to go into maximum extension of knees, dorsiflexion of ankle, inversion of ankle, medial rotation of femurs, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, your chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex the shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. And for this one, we want the shoulders at the level of the glenohumeral angle. Depending on your morphology, it's going to be anywhere from 90 to 135 degrees. For the average person, when your arms are fully extended and the palms are at the level of your forehead or slightly higher, that's going to be the glenohumeral angle. So what we're doing for this one right over here is we're going up with the crown of the head, we're pressing away with the palms, and this is the L1, L2 ELDOA. Next, the third ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct thoracic hypokyphosis is going to be the T8, T9 ELDOA. For the T8, T9 ELDOA, we want the heels in line with the ischial tuberosities. If you don't know where that is, make a fist width. Roughly the width of one fist width is going to be the level of your ischial tuberosities. So that's going to be right over there. Then we want to go into maximum flexion of the knees until our spine starts to round. As soon as our lumbar spine starts to round, then we've gone too far. From this position right over here, we want to create maximum myofascial tension in the lower extremity. We're going to do that by bringing the big toes up, flattening the medial arch. We're going to go into external rotation of tibia, medial rotation of femur. Keep those knees nice and tucked in. Then retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown of head up, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms. Maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders. Flex the shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. We're pressing up with the palms, up with the crown of the head, keeping those knees tucked in. And this is the T8, T9 ELDOA. Next, the fourth ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct thoracic hypokyphosis is going to be the T7, T8 ELDOA. For the T7, T8 ELDOA, it's going to be almost identical. The only difference is going to be the arm position. But once again, heels are in line with the ischial tuberosity, so one fist width. We're going to maximally flex until our lumbar spine starts to round. Once it starts to round, stop right there. Big toe up, flatten the medial arch, external rotation of tibia, medial rotation of femur, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head up, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex the shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. And for this one, we want to go at the level of the glenohumeral angle. So once again, between 90 to 135 degrees. We're going to press up with the crown of the head, away with the palms, and this is the T7, T8 ELDOA. Next, the fifth and final ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct thoracic hypokyphosis is going to be the T6, T7 ELDOA. For the T6, T7 ELDOA, we're going to sit cross-legged for this one. So let's go ahead and cross our legs. We want to press our knees down to the floor. We got dorsiflexion of ankle, eversion of ankle, then retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down to the floor to put the dura mater under tension. With the arms, we want our arms maximally extended at the elbows, and we want to bring our hands together until our fingertips are touching. We want them just gently touching, so we're not going to press in with the fingertips. If we were to have a piece of paper in between them, you should be easily able to glide that piece of paper up and down. Then, from here, we're going to keep the chin tucked in, crown the head up, flex the shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear, and then we're going to press up with the palms, keeping the biceps in line with the ear, and not allowing our fingers to go into too much of pressure. So just enough that a piece of paper could slide. We're pressing up with the palms, down with the knees, and this is the T6, T7 ELDOA.
And there you have it. Those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction to correct hypokyphosis of the thoracic spine. If you have hypokyphosis, or if you have issues with regard to neck pain, shoulder pain, or mid-back pain, go ahead and give those exercises a try. And then if you have given them a try, go ahead and drop your questions or comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of the exercises. And then with regard to the actual program itself, the way you want to structure it is first, you're going to do your strengthening exercises. And for the strengthening exercises, you want to do 3 sets of 50 repetitions. And that's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change, and whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, we want to accumulate enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding repetition rep range, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions for each of the exercises. Then, once you've done the strengthening exercises, next, you want to do the myofascial stretching exercises. For the myofascial stretching, 3 sets of 30 seconds on each side for the stretches. And with regard to the actual stretches, you can do them every single day. The reason we're going to be doing the stretches every single day is because, once again, we're trying to elicit that postural change, so we want to get that time under tension. And if we do these stretches only once a week or once a month, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 30 seconds every single day. Then finally, once you've done the strengthening and once you've done the stretching, you're going to finish off with the ELDOA exercises. For the ELDOA exercises, all you need to do is 1 set of a 60-second hold for each of the ELDOA postures. And with regard to these ones right over here, that's going to be 60 seconds from the time you get into the final posture, not 60 seconds from the time that you begin to set up. So go ahead, do them every single day, 1 set
set of 60-second holds for the ELDOA. And then that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.